Welcome back to my channel. It has been quite a while since I filmed a video, and so I'm very excited to be back today, starting to film again. So in case you didn't know and you haven't been following my Instagram, this year has been a lot. I think it's been a lot for everyone, but especially me. There's been a lot of change in my life, and I've been adjusting to a new job and, well, a couple of new jobs actually. And I have just been taking some time just to be able to find some balance in my normal day-to-day life, which has proved to be a bit of a challenge. A lot of the jobs that I do are very time-consuming and very emotionally and physically draining. So it has just taken me some time to adjust and kind of get into a headspace where I can handle all of that, and then have some space left to be able to do this and be creative. I think something that I really want to do is just create when I feel inspired and when I feel like God is putting something on my heart to share. So the first video I wanted to do was a bit of a Q&A. So I asked on my Instagram for some questions and I picked a small bunch to answer today. So the first question that I actually got asked by Lilia and Shemaya, they asked, what has God been teaching you recently? I think the big overarching thing that he's been teaching me this year has been trust, especially in this season of COVID. It's so uncertain and my future is so uncertain. The future of this world is so uncertain. What is it going to look like? It's never going to be the same. Plans that I had can't necessarily go ahead the way that I wanted them to. So I think in all of that, I think God has really just been building the trust that I have in Him and the faith that I have in Him, in the promises that He's given me and the dreams that He's given me, that they will still come to pass, maybe just in a different time frame or just in a different way than I expected. But yeah, I think my trust in Him has definitely grown a lot. And that was not easy. It was really, really hard. There was a lot of emotional stress and emotional roller coaster this year, which I'm sure everyone has experienced. So that has definitely been the overarching thing he's been teaching me. But some of the other things he's been teaching me is about rest and finding true rest. And I feel like that's been a big thing coming out of COVID as well, is actually getting people to slow down enough to find what actually brings them rest. So sometimes things like I thought were restful for me actually weren't, and they didn't allow my brain just to slow down. And so now, especially in the second half of the year, I'm really wanting to be intentional about resting. Sometimes that means just sitting and reading a book all day, or doing some cooking or baking just because I want to, or gardening and taking care of my plants. That is something that is really restful to me. And definitely being in nature is another thing that brings me rest. Being out in the sunshine, in the beach, in the water, that kind of thing, and just being intentional in making sure that happens. So the next question is from my beautiful friend Beck, and she asked, what are you most excited for the end of this year and for next year? I'm excited for is our home renovations. So if you didn't know, right when I got back from YWAM, we actually moved house. So you'll see behind me, this wall is actually been freshly painted recently. So I'm not actually showing you anything else because there will be a video coming where I show you my complete room makeover. We are still renovating right now, but it has been a massive change. So we, heading into the end of this year and beginning of next year, we'll start some major renovations, with bathrooms and kitchens and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned because that is all coming, but it will take time. So I'm excited for our house to start really becoming a home. As far as next year, there are so many things I'm excited for. I think I see so much potential in things around me and people around me. But some of the things I'm most excited for is, if you didn't know, I'm actually working with PACE, the Missions Organisation at the moment, and we have a whole bunch of apprentices from different countries ready to come when borders open. So we are just praying that borders open, but I'm really excited if they'll be able to come in January. It's going to be amazing, and we have all this training planned, and then they get off into their mission year. with us here in Australia. So I'm really, really excited for that. We have amazing people lined up to come, and I'm just excited that hopefully borders will open and we will get to do that. The next question is from my beautiful friend Sarah, and she asked, what are your dreams and your bucket list? Great questions. Love these questions. They're so much fun. Some of my current dreams are not necessarily like for right now, but just like I think just for my lifetime, things I'd like to do in my lifetime. I would love to build a tiny house. You have no idea, guys, how excited I am to build a tiny house. I don't know whether I want to do it in a van or a cabin or just like on a block of land. I'm not sure. But at some point in my life, I would love to build a sustainable tiny house and be completely sustainable living off like this tiny house. I think that would be so exciting. Missions is so many different things, and I would love to experience all of it as much as I can. You know, be on the front line, be helping, you know, the poorest of the poor in this world, and sharing Jesus with them, and seeing that hope in them just light up in their eyes. That is my ultimate dream. But also experience missions in all different spheres, like whether it's in the business industry or in the arts, in performing arts, like that's a way you can do missions as well. So there's so many different things that missions kind of goes into. So I would love to get experience in as many different areas as possible, and travel. That is obviously one of my biggest dreams. But yeah, having some type of online business that I can take with me, whether it's practical or like some type of shop or producing products, whatever it might be, I'm not sure yet. I have a bunch of ideas, but yeah, have grown some type of online business that I can live off, like, essentially for the most part, hopefully fully, by the time I'm like older. I'd love to have some type of online business that I can live off and again be creative in that space as well. My bucket list. Now, I feel like I have a bucket list that is a million miles long, but some of my top bucket list items that I've had for a really long time. The biggest item that I have on my bucket list is to do a Europe adventure. So I have a lot of family and friends in Europe now. If you didn't know, my whole dad's side is German, so I have a lot of friends that live all across Europe, and so I would love to go and visit them and see their culture, live in their culture, be totally immersed in their culture. You know, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Switzerland, England, Ireland, all those places I would really, really love to visit. I loved history growing up in high school, so I really want to see the places that I researched and did assessments on, like in real life. And a couple of other random things that have been on my bucket list. I have always wanted to work at Disney. Doesn't really matter which Disney, whether it's like Disney Paris or Disney World in the States. I've always wanted to work at Disney, and ever since I've been a little kid, I've always wanted to be a Disney princess. So I don't know how that will ever work itself out, but I hope I would get to work there at some point in my life, even if it's just like 6 months or a year or something like that. America has such a rich, super fun camp culture. Millions of kids go on camp in the summer, like every year. And I've always wanted to do it. I think I see it just as such an opportunity to really speak into kids' lives and show them the heart of the Father and show them like a relationship with God. So yeah, there's some really cool Christian summer camps in the States that I've always wanted to work at. I think it would just be so much fun getting to have fun with them all summer and really invest in their life. And my last question for today was also from Beck, and she asked, what is my favorite Bible verse and my favorite books of the Bible at the moment? Two of my favorite Bible verses that have been my favorite for a while. The first one is Jeremiah 29:11, and it says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." That has been my favorite verse, I think, since I was like 13. I've just loved it. I think there is so much truth in that and so much hope in knowing that it doesn't matter what the circumstances are around me. I know that God has good plans for me and they will come to pass. Whether it's the way that I think or the time frame might be completely different to what I think, but I know in everything that God will turn the situation for good, and He has incredible plans for me, bigger than what I could ever imagine. So I love that verse, and I speak it over myself all the time, especially when I'm going through seasons of doubt or disappointment, is speaking that verse, and keeping my eyes fixed on God in that. And the second one is Luke 1 verse 45, and that has been my verse for the year. If you didn't see my videos all the way back in January, I love to have a word for the year and a verse for the year. Again, it's about the Lord fulfilling His promises. It doesn't matter what's going on around me, but I can put my faith and put my trust in Him, and I know that He will fulfill His promises to me, even though will probably be very different to what I think. And especially, that's been a great verse for this year. Actually, I had no idea at the beginning of the year that what's happened this year would happen, but that verse, I think, was the most perfect verse for this year. Is that even in the midst of absolute pure chaos, the Lord will fulfill His promises. Might not be right now, might be 5 years down the track, might be 3 years, might be 2 months, it might be 10 years. I know that He will fulfill His promises to me. Right, and then answering my favorite books in the Bible, I actually got a new Bible a couple months ago, and it is a women's study Bible. Study Bibles are incredible, and I got it from Koorong. This one was a bit pricey, but I wanted to invest in a really good one. So it's got beautiful brown leather, and it is absolutely beautiful on the inside. It's got all this beautiful floral design and calligraphy for all the chapter fronts of the chapter. It's absolutely beautiful. I love that you can understand the context of the scripture right away because it has all of the information already there for you, so it saves a lot of time. Yeah, I really love it, so then I can focus on delving in deep into the passage when I'm studying my Bible in my quiet time. But this has really helped me to fall in love with a lot of books of the Bible. I think my all-time favorite book has, for some reason, the last couple of years always been Ruth. I love the story of Ruth. I don't know why, it's just always stuck out to me. I really love it. So some of my other favorite ones are 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians. I love Ephesians, Philippians, and Colossians are always really good too. Yeah, I just love those smaller books of the Bible in the New Testament. I've really been loving those this year. And I've really been loving Psalms as well, and Proverbs. I read through Proverbs this year, and I am 2/3 of the way through Psalms. So that has been taking me a while to get through those, but I've just actually switched back to reading Psalms now because I took a little break, read something else, and came back to it. But yeah, that is all the questions I have to answer for today. Thank you so much for watching, and again, thank you to everyone who sent in questions. I hope you enjoyed, and like I said before, make sure you subscribe because there is lots of content coming your way, and I just hope that this channel and community that we create here can be a place where you can find rest and peace and be inspired to keep going towards God, or maybe perhaps start a relationship with God. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.